Listen to me. If you woke up this morning and you're breathing, you've already been given the only gift that matters, another chance. Another chance to rise, to fight, to stand. And if you waste it, if you let it slip through your fingers because you were too lazy, too distracted, too weak to take it seriously, then you don't deserve it. There's a cold truth nobody will tell you. The world doesn't care about your excuses. The world doesn't care that you're tired. The world doesn't care that your life was unfair. The world will step over you if you fall, and it will not stop. That's why you can't afford to live like a child anymore. You want respect, you want power, you want freedom. It doesn't come from talking. It comes from discipline. Discipline is the real power. People confuse power with money, with influence, with connections, but those are only results. They are outcomes of a deeper, invisible force that most people overlook. Real power is not given, it is earned, and the currency you pay is discipline. Without discipline, you can have talent, you can have opportunity, you can even have luck, but it will all slip through your hands. Discipline is the ability to command yourself, to bend your emotions and impulses to your will. It is the quiet, relentless force that keeps you moving forward when everything inside you wants to quit. It is the reason why some men rise and others remain stuck. When you wake up before the sun rises, when you push your body through pain in the gym, when you say no to temptations that steal your time, you are not just doing tasks, you are forging control over yourself. That control is power, because a man who can control himself can control the outcome of his life. The world is full of distractions, full of people trying to pull your attention in every direction. They want you addicted, weak, dependent. Discipline is the shield against all of it. Discipline says, I decide what I do, I decide how I live, I decide who I become. The truth is, you cannot buy discipline, you cannot borrow it from someone else. It is built through consistent action, through small, boring, repetitive choices that compound into greatness. The man who practices discipline in private earns respect in public. People notice when you show up every time, when you keep promises, when you demand more from yourself than anyone else would dare to demand. That's why discipline is feared, because it creates a level of reliability and strength that others can't compete with. Most people are slaves to their moods. If they don't feel like working, they don't work. If they don't feel like training, they don't train. If they don't feel motivated, they stop. Discipline frees you from that prison. Discipline says you work whether you feel like it or not. You train whether it's raining or sunny. You do the hard thing because the hard thing must be done. And every time you push through resistance, you grow. Every time you obey the plan instead of the impulse, you reinforce your ability to lead yourself. That's the root of all real power, leadership. In life, there will be days when no one believes in you, when nothing goes right, when every reason to stop is staring you in the face. Without discipline, you will quit. You will justify quitting, you will tell yourself it's okay, and you will live the rest of your life with the taste of regret. But with discipline, you keep moving, even if it's slow, even if it's painful, even if it's lonely. You keep moving because you understand that stopping means death to your dreams. Discipline is what separates the man who finishes the race from the one who sits in the stands. Every empire is built on discipline. Every great athlete, every successful businessman, every respected leader, their power is not in luck or raw talent, but in their ability to do what must be done without negotiation. They understand that discipline is not punishment, it is freedom. Freedom from weakness, from dependency, from mediocrity. A man who lives with discipline walks through life with certainty, with authority, with respect. People follow him because they can trust him. They know his word means something because he has mastered the hardest person to lead himself. So if you want real power, stop chasing shortcuts. Stop waiting for motivation to knock on your door. Start building discipline. Wake up early, train your body and your mind, do the things you know you should do every single day without compromise. Ignore the noise, the opinions, the distractions. Understand that every choice is a vote for the man you want to become. And when you live like that, you won't have to tell people you're powerful. They will see it, they will feel it, because discipline is the real power, and once you have it, nobody can take it from you. Comfort is the enemy, and discipline is the real power. Most people spend their entire lives chasing comfort, not realizing that it is the silent killer of ambition, the thief of dreams, and the reason they never become what they could be. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it robs you of your edge. It tells you to take the easy way, to rest a little longer, to avoid pain, to avoid risk. And every time you choose comfort over growth, you weaken yourself. You might not notice it today, but one day you will wake up and realize years have passed. Nothing has changed, and the man you could have been is gone. Comfort is seductive. It whispers in your ear, telling you that you've done enough, that you deserve a break, that tomorrow will be the day you start, but tomorrow never comes. Comfort keeps you stuck in the same routines, the same mediocrity, while the world moves on without you. Discipline, on the other hand, is the force that destroys comfort. It is the real power because it makes you do the things that comfort tells you to avoid. Discipline is waking up early when comfort tells you to sleep in. It is hitting the gym when comfort tells you to take a day off. It is choosing to invest your time in building your future instead of wasting it on empty entertainment. Comfort gives you short-term pleasure. Discipline gives you long-term freedom. And that's why discipline is so rare, because it requires you to go against your instincts, to fight the easy path, and to choose what is hard but necessary. Every man who has ever achieved something great has done so by sacrificing comfort for discipline. The soldier trains in the rain and cold. The athlete pushes through exhaustion and pain. The businessman works late nights while others are partying. They understand a simple truth. Comfort will never make you strong. Comfort will never prepare you for the storms of life. Only discipline will. And here's the paradox: the more you avoid discomfort, the weaker you become, and the harder life will hit you. But the more you embrace discomfort through discipline, the stronger you become, and the more life bends to your will. Discipline is real power because it gives you control. Comfort puts you under the control of your feelings and impulses. If you only act when you feel like it, you will never build anything worth having. Feelings are unreliable. They change with the weather, with your mood, with your environment. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. It doesn't care if you're tired, sad, or unmotivated. Discipline is action based on commitment, not emotion, and the man who lives by discipline will always outlast the man who lives by comfort. Think about it. Comfort keeps you in bed when the alarm goes off. Discipline gets you up. Comfort tells you to eat whatever you crave. Discipline tells you to fuel your body with what it needs. Comfort tells you that training is too hard today. Discipline says you train anyway. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you win a battle. Those battles add up. They turn into habits. Those habits turn into a mindset. And that mindset will carry you to places comfort can never reach. The reason comfort is the enemy is because it disguises itself as kindness. It feels good, so you assume it must be the right choice. But in reality, comfort is like a slow-acting poison. It doesn't kill you instantly. It just keeps you soft, keeps you distracted, keeps you from taking the actions that would transform your life. By the time you realize what it's done to you, years are gone, opportunities are gone, and you're left wondering why nothing changed. Discipline doesn't feel good in the moment. It's not meant to. It's meant to test you, to sharpen you, to break you down so you can rebuild stronger. The power of discipline is that it turns discomfort into fuel. Where most people run away from the hard things, the disciplined man runs toward them, because he knows every challenge he overcomes makes him harder to break. That's why the disciplined man commands respect. People see that he's in control, that he's not swayed by the same temptations and distractions that pull everyone else down. Comfort makes promises it can't keep. It tells you that taking it easy now will somehow lead to a better life later. But the truth is, the more you take it easy, the harder life becomes. Bills don't stop coming because you were comfortable. Your body doesn't get stronger because you rested too much. Your dreams don't move closer because you waited for the right mood to start. Only discipline moves you forward. Only discipline builds the strength, the skills, the habits, and the mindset that make success possible. So the choice is simple: live for comfort and stay weak, or live with discipline and build real power. If you want to be more than average, you have to stop treating comfort like your friend. It is your enemy. It wants to keep you exactly where you are, and the only way to defeat it is with the weapon of discipline day after day, choice after choice, until it becomes who you are. When you understand this, life changes. You stop expecting it to be easy. You stop waiting to feel ready. You realize that the hard path is the only path worth walking. Comfort will always be there, tempting you to slow down, to quit, to give up. But you will no longer listen, because you know that every time you choose discipline over comfort, you take another step toward the man you are meant to become. That is why comfort is the enemy, and discipline is the real power. It is the difference between living a life you settle for and living a life you command. Pain is the price of respect, and discipline is the real power. Every man who has ever earned true respect has paid for it in pain, pain of sacrifice, pain of rejection, pain of pushing himself far beyond what was comfortable. Respect is not given for free, it's bought with the currency of suffering. People respect the man who stands in the fire and refuses to step out. They respect the man who keeps moving forward when every part of him is screaming to stop. That is why the weak are never respected for long, because the moment things get hard, they disappear. If you want respect, you have to be willing to endure what others can't. Pain is not the enemy, it is the test. It is the filter that separates the disciplined from the undisciplined, the men who command respect from the men who beg for it. Discipline is what allows you to endure that pain. Without discipline, pain will break you. Without discipline, you will fold when life turns against you. Discipline is the real power because it turns pain into progress. It gives you the ability to keep showing up when everything hurts. The gym burns your muscles, the grind burns your energy, the sacrifices burn your comfort, but each time you push through, you build strength, and strength commands respect. Nobody respects the man who quits when it hurts. They respect the man who embraces the hurt because he knows it's the cost of becoming who he wants to be. Think about any figure who has truly commanded respect in history, in sports, in business, in life. None of them got there without pain. They were betrayed, doubted, pushed to their limits. They failed, they suffered losses. They had nights where they questioned everything, but they didn't stop. Why? Because they had discipline. Discipline kept them on course when pain tried to knock them off. Discipline told them, this is the price, pay it. And they paid in full. Pain reveals who you are. When everything is easy, anyone can look strong, anyone can look committed. But when the pain comes, when you're exhausted, when nothing is going your way, when you've failed again, that's when your true character shows. Most men break at this point. The few who don't are the ones we respect. We don't respect them because they had it easy. We respect them because they went through hell and didn't flinch. The reason pain is such a high price is because it forces you to give up comfort. Comfort tells you to stop when it hurts, to back down when things get hard. Pain tells you there's more inside you if you're willing to suffer for it. Discipline is the voice that chooses pain over comfort, over and over again, because it knows that pain is temporary, but respect lasts forever. There is something unshakable about a man who has paid his dues in pain. You can see it in his eyes, in the way he carries himself. He's not arrogant, but he doesn't need validation from anyone. He knows what he's been through, and that knowledge alone gives him an aura that others feel. That kind of respect can't be faked. It's carved into your soul by the struggles you survive. The path to that kind of respect is brutal. You will lose sleep. You will lose people who don't understand why you're pushing so hard. You will face days where the pain feels endless, where quitting looks like the only escape. But if you have discipline, you will refuse to take the easy way out. You will push through, not because it's fun, not because it's easy, but because you know this is the price every great man has paid. Pain also teaches you humility. It strips away illusions about who you think you are and forces you to prove it. It reminds you that you are not entitled to anything. You have to fight for every inch. And in that fight, you earn respect from yourself first, and then from others. Self-respect is the foundation of all respect, and it's built when you know you've endured something most people couldn't. Without discipline, you will run from pain, And in doing so, you will run from respect. You will settle for comfort, for mediocrity, for a life where no one takes you seriously. But with discipline, you will look pain in the eye and walk toward it, because you know it's the toll booth on the road to greatness. Every rep you finish when your body says stop, every day you work when you're exhausted, every time you stay focused when distractions try to pull you away, those are the payments you make. Over time, those payments add up to something priceless. You can't demand respect if you haven't paid for it. You can't expect people to take you seriously if you haven't shown that you can take the hits and keep moving. Words mean nothing without the discipline to back them up through action, especially when those actions hurt. The man who can endure pain with discipline becomes unshakable, and an unshakable man will always be respected. So understand this. Pain is not there to destroy you. It's there to make you worthy of the position you say you want. It's there to test your commitment, your resilience, your discipline. The question is simple: are you willing to pay the price? Because if you are, you'll find that discipline turns pain into your greatest weapon, and with that weapon, you'll earn the kind of respect that no one can take away. Control yourself, control your life, and understand that discipline is the real power. Every man who has ever truly owned his life first mastered himself. The world is full of men who try to control everything around them: money, women, opportunities, outcomes, yet they are slaves to their own impulses. They eat whatever they crave, they sleep whenever they feel tired, they react emotionally to every challenge, and then they wonder why they have no control over their future. The truth is simple: if you cannot control yourself, you control nothing. Without self-control, you're just a passenger in your own life, going wherever circumstances push you. Self-control is not about denying yourself everything. It's about deciding who is in charge, your discipline or your emotions. Your emotions want comfort, pleasure, and ease. Discipline wants progress, growth, and strength. The man who chooses discipline over emotion becomes the master of his destiny. The man who chooses emotion over discipline becomes its victim. Self-control is the filter between thought and action. It's the ability to pause, to think, and to choose the action that serves your goals, not your temporary feelings. This is real power because the world is built for people who can stay steady while others are reactive. Think about how many mistakes people make because they lack self-control, saying words they can't take back, wasting money on things they don't need, skipping the work that would change their lives, giving in to every craving, and falling into traps that steal their time. Every one of those moments is a loss of control. Every one of them puts your life into someone else's hands. But when you build discipline, you stop being easy to manipulate. You stop being predictable. You become dangerous in the best way dangerous because you cannot be swayed by cheap temptations or emotional triggers. Discipline is the tool that builds this control. It's not something you magically wake up with one day. It's forged in small decisions, in repeated battles with yourself, waking up on time when you want to sleep longer, saying no to distractions when you want to indulge, sticking to your plan when everything in you wants to deviate. Every time you win those battles, you tighten your grip on your own life, and the tighter your grip, the more you can direct your future toward what you want. Control yourself, and you'll find that life stops feeling random. You will stop saying things like, "I hope this works out," and start saying, "I will make this work out." That's the difference between living by chance and living by choice. A man with self-control doesn't rely on luck. He creates his own outcomes because he knows his actions are deliberate, not accidental. He doesn't wait for motivation to strike because he knows discipline doesn't need motivation. He acts because it must be done, and he acts with precision. Most men lose control because they never face themselves honestly. They make excuses for their bad habits instead of killing them. They say just this once until just this once becomes their entire life. They blame others for where they are instead of admitting that their lack of self-control put them there. You will never control your life if you can't take ownership of your actions, and ownership starts with discipline. You have to decide that nothing, not laziness, not fear, not temptation will dictate your life more than your commitment to your goals. This level of self-control makes you dangerous in the eyes of the world because it's rare. Most people are slaves to impulses, chasing every shiny distraction and reacting to every little thing that happens. But when you are disciplined, you can stay calm in chaos. You can stick to the plan when everyone else is panicking. You can think long-term when others are trapped in short-term pleasures. That's the kind of control that wins battles in business, in relationships, and in life itself. When you control yourself, you control your time. And time is the most valuable asset you have. Without discipline, you waste it on meaningless activities that give you nothing back. With discipline, you invest it into things that multiply your life's value, building skills, creating wealth, improving your health, strengthening your mind. Over months and years, the man who controls himself will be miles ahead of the man who doesn't, even if they started in the same place. Self-control is also the foundation of respect, both self-respect and the respect of others. People can see when a man is in control of himself. They notice when you keep your word, when you follow through on commitments, when you resist temptations that would derail you. That kind of discipline earns trust. It makes people take you seriously because they know you take yourself seriously. Understand this: the world will always try to test your control. You will face challenges designed to push you off course. People will try to provoke you. Circumstances will try to frustrate you. Temptations will try to lure you. Without discipline, you will fail those tests and lose control over your life. But with discipline, you will pass every test because you'll recognize that each one is an opportunity to reinforce your power over yourself. Control yourself and you'll be free. You'll be free from the pull of distractions, from the chains of bad habits, from the need for approval. You'll be free to pursue your goals with full force because nothing inside you is working against you. That is what it means to truly own your life, to know that your mind and body answer to you, not the other way around. And once you reach that point, you'll realize why discipline is the real power, because a man who can master himself can master anything. Sacrifice now or suffer forever, and understand that discipline is the real power. Life is not a game where you can skip the hard parts and still expect to win. Everything worth having demands a price, and that price is always paid upfront. You cannot cheat the process, you cannot avoid the grind, and you cannot bypass the sacrifices. If you refuse to pay now through discipline, you will pay later through regret, and the pain of regret lasts far longer than the pain of sacrifice. When you sacrifice, you give up comfort, free time, and pleasures in the moment so you can build something greater for the future. When you refuse to sacrifice, you live for comfort now, but you guarantee a future filled with struggle, limitations, and resentment toward yourself. Discipline is the real power because it gives you the ability to make those sacrifices willingly. It allows you to say no to distractions, no to bad habits, no to things that feel good now but cost you everything later. Most people fail because they are addicted to instant gratification. They want the rewards without the work, the results without the grind. But life does not work that way. You either put in the time, the energy, and the discipline now, or you spend the rest of your life wishing you had. Sacrifice is the doorway to freedom, and discipline is the key that unlocks it. When you choose to sacrifice now, you take control over your destiny. You stop letting the present moment dictate your future. You start living like a builder, laying down bricks every day even when no one notices, even when there is no applause, even when it feels like nothing is changing. That's the part most people can't handle: the long period of unseen work. They want results in days, but real success takes years of consistent sacrifice. Discipline keeps you going during those years. It reminds you that every small effort compounds, that every day you sacrifice for the bigger picture is another step toward the life you want. The truth is, there's no escaping sacrifice. If you avoid it now, you will face it later when it's too late to change course. You will sacrifice your freedom, your health, your opportunities, your peace of mind. You will watch others living the life you wanted while you're trapped in the life you settled for. That's the price of choosing comfort over discipline. And the worst part is knowing deep down that you could have done more, but you didn't. That's the suffering that never leaves you. The man who understands this chooses to sacrifice now. He chooses the early mornings, the late nights, the missed parties, the skipped pleasures. Not because he hates life, but because he loves his future more than his present comfort. He knows that the grind is temporary, but the rewards are lasting. He knows that the discipline he builds now will serve him for the rest of his life, making him stronger, sharper, and more capable of handling anything that comes his way. Sacrifice is a test of how badly you want something. Everyone says they want success, respect, financial freedom, physical strength, but when it's time to pay for it with sacrifice, most walk away. They don't want it badly enough to give up what's holding them back. Discipline is what separates those who talk about wanting it from those who actually get it. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel about making the sacrifice. It demands that you do it regardless of feelings. And once you make enough sacrifices, you start to see results that fuel you to keep going. There's a dangerous lie that says you can have it all without giving anything up, that you can balance endless comfort with massive success, that you can live like the average person and still achieve extraordinary results. It's not true. Extraordinary requires extraordinary effort, and extraordinary effort requires extraordinary sacrifice. You can't spend your time on everything and expect to be great at something. You have to cut out what doesn't serve your mission. That's the price of winning, and discipline is the weapon you use to pay it. Sacrifice now also means developing the patience to play the long game. You won't see the full rewards immediately. That's why discipline is so important. It keeps you committed when the results are invisible. Every day you put in the work without seeing the final outcome is a test of faith in yourself. Most people fail that test because they confuse slow progress with no progress. But if you have discipline, you understand that the work you do now is an investment, and investments take time to grow. One day, the sacrifices you make now will give you the kind of life that others dream about. You will have the freedom, the options, the respect, and the confidence that comes from knowing you built it yourself. And you will look back at the sacrifices not as losses, but as the smartest decisions you ever made, because you'll see what they gave you a life on your terms. The ones who refuse to sacrifice will still be stuck, still suffering, still wishing they had started when you did. Sacrifice now or suffer forever, the choice is yours. The difference between those two paths is discipline. Without it, you will always choose what feels good now over what's best later, and you will pay for that choice for the rest of your life. With it, you will take the hits, endure the grind, and make the sacrifices that shape you into the man you want to be. And when that day comes, you'll know the truth. Discipline was the real power all along, because it gave you the strength to give up what didn't matter so you could gain everything that did. And now we come to the truth. Most people don't want to hear this, is it? This is your life. There are no rewinds, no do-overs, no second drafts. Every day that passes is a day you will never get back, and one day you will run out of them. When that day comes, you will either look back proud of the man you became, or you will look back drowning in regret for the man you never had the courage to be. If you keep chasing comfort, if you keep avoiding sacrifice, if you keep letting your impulses control you, that day will come sooner than you think. And when it does, it will hit you like a punch to the chest, all the opportunities you missed, all the dreams you let die, all because you chose what was easy over what was right. That pain will be permanent. You can't undo a wasted life, but if you choose discipline now, if you choose to pay the price in sweat, effort, and sacrifice, your future will be unrecognizable compared to where you are today. You will become a man who commands respect without asking for it. You will build strength that others admire but cannot understand because they weren't willing to walk the same path. You will have freedom not just financial, but mental and emotional, because you'll know that no matter what happens, you can rely on yourself to handle it. That is real power. The road will not be easy. It will be lonely. It will test you. It will break you down, and then it will break you down again. But each time you get back up, you will be sharper. Each time you refuse to quit, you will be harder to defeat. And one day, you'll realize you've become the kind of man you once admired from a distance. That is the reward for your discipline. So understand this. Every choice you make from this moment on is building the story of your life. Every day you skip the work, Every time you choose comfort, every time you lie to yourself, that's another page of weakness in your story. But every day you rise early, every time you push through pain, every time you keep a promise to yourself, that's another page of strength, of courage, of victory. When it's all said and done, the only question will be, did you sacrifice now, or will you suffer forever? The answer will be written in your actions, not your words. The world won't remember your excuses. It won't remember your intentions. It will only remember what you built, what you became, and what you stood for. So make the choice today, not tomorrow, not someday. Today, choose discipline over comfort. Choose sacrifice over regret. Choose to control yourself so you can control your life. Because once you do, nothing, and I mean nothing, will be able to stop you. And thank you for watching.